Yeah, so you come in here, and this was the entree, and which I was very excited about was the view into the garden. The garden was no longer as it is now, but it was a sloped ground towards the river Leita. And eventually I developed this as a beautiful garden. But let's talk about the apartment which I first established for the family, which was to take out all the walls and the small rooms in here, and to establish a kind of a foyer at the entrance. And the one room which we started with was this room. This room became sort of the family every use room. So there was a big bed, we all slept here, and there was a big wooden table, and eventually I built a stove which could be heated with wooden logs from the outside, and yeah, and then I had new windows and 2 doors leading to the garden, and so this was the first step. And there was another. Meanwhile, the table changed; it became sort of a contemporary structure, and there was a door before, and I hated the scale of the door, and so I reduced the size. So this was then became an access to the next room. So let's follow me. So this is only a narrow room with a beautiful ceiling. However, only one window, and therefore it itself declared itself to become the bathroom. So you have your bathtub here, sunken bathtub. You have your shower room here and your washroom. And so the walls cannot go higher because the vault and the space of the room could not be irritated. So it has to be maintained as it is. So this now is the water room. And the next room is this one. I turned it into a dining room. I opened the window and had a view out into the garden. And as I said earlier, I reduced the size of the windows, which were big and square. However, then, since the road was raised, the windows would let the view into the room, so I closed them and had these small oval windows. And these are pieces of the old Dachstuhl, which I used here, and it became a table. So this is the dining table here.
So pieces of the old roof became the table.
The table, yeah, exactly. And here, the next room. The next room has the same size as the bathroom. However, it had the same beautiful vault. However, it had a few more openings, windows. Therefore, the room turned into a kitchen. And the most important thing for a kitchen is on one side fire and on the other side water. So you have here the stove and here the water. And the remaining so-called furniture I made out of concrete to simplify the structure and to put in another brick floor, and to maintain the scale of the vaulted room. So these are the 3 rooms which were first restored for the family. So this is the opening for the stove. You put the logs in here, and you heat the room with wooden. Now the garden. I started to conceive the garden, which to me is exactly as important as the house, because it's an extension of the house itself, of the rooms. And therefore, I divided the garden into 3 different areas. The first area, which is the one close to the house itself, is this terrace. I laid it out with old bricks, which I got somewhere from rotten buildings, and I put them here. And since the house originally never had a gutter, gutter. So I put the gutter here, down here, and so all the water from the roof would enter here. And since in the center of this area there used to be an underground vault, which was used as a storage for meat. They put in summer, they put in ice blocks, and they stored the meat there, which I no longer used. But what I did, I opened the vault, made a hole into it, and I let all the water from the gutter enter there. So this space underneath became almost like a cistern. And the reason was because I wanted to grow a beautiful tree. So I planted this tree. And the tree gets the water from, and also all the buildings, the growing vegetation gets the water from this underground. So this was very important for me. I became an early green sort of environmentalist again. Yeah. So here I closed this space, this terrace space, which also has, I mentioned it earlier, these 2 glass doors to the central room, which now turned into a sala terrena, because it is always nice, cool there. There's heavy 1 meter thick walls make it pleasant in climate, and you have an extension of the space into the house itself. So here you go into the second stage. The second stage of the garden is the green space. So I put up maybe 100 lorries of earth to cover up this area, because it used to be, as I told you, it used to be sloping down. So I filled it up and made it flat, and it's a green space now, closed with this efeu.
Green area.
Yeah, green area. Yeah. And closed at the edge here with a wine laube.
Very nice shade.
Yeah.
It's very hot outside.
Yeah. This is the Weinlaube, and it's an extension of the green space, and at the edge here, I put up a summer kitchen for grilling and cooking, and so it's an open outdoor kitchen, and the place where you could, with your friends, sit here and have dinner, and eventually, if there's a party, you can extend the tables all the way to the end, as it used to be last year when they celebrated my 88th birthday. That was a big ceremony going on, and so they were filled up with people. And here I have my wine leaves.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of...
Yes. It's fun for the birds. They come all and visit me and eat the big grapes. Yeah.
And the climate is very good.
Yeah. So now let's go into the third area. Here at the edge you see this little building used to be already a remnant of an old storage, and I left it, and I have some machinery for the water processing and a small roof terrace, so you have steps up there and you can be on the terrace and view down and see the whole garden in one. So here, this is the edge of the, as it used to be before. The ground was sloping down to the river. Now I made the clear edge as a concrete retaining wall, and please come here, and you see at the edge of the retaining wall it became the function for the pool. So this is very, in this climate, in the Pannonian climate, it's sometimes very hot, so it's wonderful to have a cool water pool where you can sit in and have a little swim. And so this is and I started with having another pond there, which is a nature pond. But I had hoped that the nature would clear the water and had a system, the water be pumped up here and brought into this. But it didn't work. You know, the groundwater is polluted too much, and there's too much algae growth, and so eventually this turned always green, like the Neusiedler lake, you know. And so I wanted to have clean water, and so I separated them now. And so this is the pool for the frogs and for snakes and all kind of little animals which enjoy it very much. Yeah, and we go down now. Here is our house god, because meanwhile I have a small house in Sri Lanka on the Indian Ocean. And so we brought him from the Indian Ocean to here, and he is now our house god. That's the son of Shiva, Ganesh.
Okay.
So this Ganesh is placed here, and there is a little sacred tree, olive tree, to protect him.
Very nice. Very nice.
Now, if you look up here, you turn around, you know, you can see very well the idea. You have your Baroque building in the back, and you have your wall and your water, your pool there. It would be impossible to have a contemporary pool in front of a Baroque building. That would be sacrilege. So I put the pool down there, and it's hidden, and still it serves its purpose. And the view, when you look here, you have this fantastic view. It's sort of Borghese-like. You know, you have the Baroque building in the back with the greenery and with the water in front. So this is what I feel.
Is this also where we can actually see the language you developed over the years, that you have, this is modernist, this is international modernism, and you have vernacular architecture or Baroque, Renaissance, whatever, this blend. Would you say this is your architectural manifest?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Thank you. Yeah, you pronounced it more better than I could do. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that it gives me also, as a contemporary person, I didn't want to live in a Baroque building as such, but I turned it into something else. Yeah. But still I maintained some of the past memories.
And it's a new consistency.
Yeah. Yes. And I think this is something that I would feel that would give also for urban development some impetus. Mm-hmm. And later on, when I became the head of the Academy of Fine Arts, and I felt that there was really little space for contemporary artists to elaborate their own ideas, I took over the Semper Depot, and I turned it into a new academy, which has been received with great excitement, and it functioned very well in this way. Yeah. So this is the second part, which ends here and with this little wall, and I kept the remaining part of my property, which ends behind the mirror. Here is a kind of how would you say, jungle. Yeah, it's a kind of a private little jungle where everything grows and develops and creates between the developed part of the garden. It became its own by itself. Yeah. So I didn't care whatever.
Coexistence.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes.
And the mirror, what does the mirror want to?
The mirror is an idea of Eva, because Eva felt there are two reasons for. One is that there used to be a view, the view down to the river, but it was all closed by the neighbor who didn't want us to look down. So at the end, Eva wanted to with the mirror to come take back part of our own garden.
I see.
And it also has a special reason. It reflects the sun, particularly in some days. The sun is directly reflected. I will show you in the building in the upper floor.
This is a north
side. Yes, and the south. So the sun reflects it.
Okay, very interesting.
Yeah, you have your water lilies. The lilies are hiding now because we are coming. But since Eva, my dear wife, she loves flowers, and I hate flowers. Not in the house, I love them, but not in the garden. So I have no space in the garden to have sort of a flower bed or somewhere. So in order for her to grow some flowers, which she cuts and puts into vases in the house, I put a space behind this wall. So behind the wall there is a flower garden. And here you have on the 50th birthday of my dear wife, we went to Morocco, and I took some of the Moroccan how do you call it, spices with me. Mint, yes. And you see.
Yeah, it smells.
Smell.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is the mint. Yeah.
The river flowing.
It's now,
Quietly.
now strange enough, we don't hear the birds, but sometime in the afternoon there is a whole concert of birds singing and noising and wonderful.
Wow.
Professor Pruscha, one question I always had whenever I came here, this wall reminded me of Louis Barragan.
Yes, yes, yes.
But it has
Also the stair up.
so, so there is
yes,
there is a connection.
yes.
You have not used any color. You have not used
No.
the pink of Louis Barragan.
No, I wouldn't dare to do that, but I'm really very fond of Barragan. I unfortunately never met him personally, but I met his partner who did the towers, this. And I was, when I studied in the States, I went to Mexico and I saw his work there, and I was very excited. It was, he still is one of my favorite sort of Vorbilder. Yes, sure. So to return back to the history of the building, the original building was ended here, and it had no staircase up. Obviously, there must have been a wooden staircase somewhere here to go up to the first floor. However, this was no longer there. And exactly 1735, a governor of Bratislava at that time, that was 1735. So that was the time of Maria Theresia. During this time, this man, some governor from Bratislava, maybe he was assisting Maria Theresia to her coronation as a Queen of Hungary or something like this. And he bought this area and this building and wanted to turn it into his own elderly residence. However, at that time, the building was still mainly a Renaissance structure. As the entrance gate, as you saw, is still Renaissance, and the windows and everything was Renaissance. But he wanted to turn it into a Baroque building because 70-something was Baroque time. So he started to make the building Baroque. So he added this Lysanen and this steel and this wooden stonework. Und diese Muscheln sind überall am Haus attached. So he obviously had some idea about this Santiago. And so this was a lot of there were little elements of decoration which I didn't reuse, but at the time that was his idea of restoring the building as a Baroque building. So he added this whole wing, the staircase, and where we go now. This is his addition. He added this part, as an additional. So you can see the walls of the ancient building, which is mixed stone brick structure. You can see, and the staircase was built by the new owner, 1735, and he added this railing which leads to nowhere. Which is very funny.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah. The only window which big window which I opened up here with this Venetian style of glass window is this view out into the garden, and the opposite window which used to be over there, I left closed. And I have the little window to remind of the time of the go down of the Getreidespeicher. That used to be the time when there was one level and the second level for storing the grain. All this I had to renew. So these tiles, they were brought in from Vienna, from some Abbruch. So all this I took together, and these beams, they were left over from the Getreidespeicher. So I put them up here, and I have another attic on top.
Huge space, yeah.
Yeah. So this room now, it must have been a number of rooms, very elaborate rooms at the time when this man, before it was changed into a go-down, and I left the whole front as it used to be, in order to have from the village not a change. I didn't want to show up in the village as a Schlossherr, as master of castle, but I wanted to have the old idea of a go-down to express to the village, and I left it so. So these little windows I maintained as they used to be. And this room now, as I told you, I put a new roof on top. So the new roof structure is my architectural invention, very simple, cheap, lightweight, yes. And the horizontal tension is no longer a big beam as it used to be, but it's just a steel rod. And I added all around a concrete frame in order to tie the building together and to avoid that walls would, yeah. And since the room down there for the whole family, for the children who went to Waldorf school and who had often visitors from their school, and 10 young people were here crowding, and so I built for myself one room up here. That was the first access I made to this. I'll show you. That was the first room for me as my working room, where I could retreat. And this room was only later on, it was made to the state. And then I made often seminars and discussions with my professors and my students here. And sometimes we ordered food to come in from outside. And we had nice gatherings here. And eventually it also became a place for art, because Peter Kogler, who is a very famous artist in Austria, who made this for me for my rector room in the academy. And when I went to retirement, I said, well, Peter, you can pick up your artwork. Now I'm leaving this room, and I don't want it to be maintained for my successor, who never knows who will be. Okay. So he said, no, you take it with you, it's yours. And he donated it to me, and I put it here. And I asked him, you like it here? And he said, well, it's so much better here than in the academy as it used to be. And so and my daughter, Tia Alexandra, she's doing textile work. So she made these two pieces as a kind of a dialogue for Peter, and she made this blue color, how do you say?
Stripes.
Yeah, die blaue, it's a special blue, indigo. Yeah, she made it indigo. And my most liked artist in the academy used to be Franz Graf. And so some of his work, this one here and this one over there, are his work, which I have placed. This is Franz Graf. And this room, since it is a big empty room, however, there was no wall here. I put up this new wall, and in order to give the room full symmetry and to have this axis here passing through. In spite of that, I didn't add a window here, but still it reminds you the axis is still existing. So this is this room. And when I did the Semper Depot, there was some piece of steel left over, which I bought myself, and I inserted it here, where it has actually no function, but the memory of another building which I did, which was very dear to me to have it. And so I have this piece here. Now, the first room which I fixed up for myself was this room. So this was, as all the rooms obviously must have been before, vaulted rooms. Mm-hmm. And this was left. So the beer brewer didn't take it out, so it was left, and I made a library out of it. And the table where I could work, and that was my study. While the children and my wife had place down there.
Very nice. And it's a different scale, so this is the original scale.
Yeah.
Okay.
And here you see in one photo how there were no trees and nothing, there was just empty. And the building was, however, in the state of restoring. I think that in earlier times there must have been a roof here and maybe a wooden structure all the way down to the floor with stairs going up, and that would have been the staircase for the upper floor, because this, as I told you, this is much later. So the earlier must have been somewhere here. So this space is some 24 meter long and 8 meter wide and 6 meter high. So that's
volume.
Yeah, that's sort of a space where you could live well. And in the middle of the space, I put up this 4 by 4 meter insert, and it contains all the needed utilitarian functions, whereas the space itself is just space, and you can use it as you want. But in here, this is the needed functions like bathroom and
the toilet, the kitchen.
Yes, and I made one change in the building, which the monument people didn't, I think, even realize, that I cut in this opening, and that it gives me the view when I sit here and work to look out, and this is a shower.
Perfect.
This is a shower, and you see when you take a shower, you look out again into the garden. And here's a little kitchenette for the breakfast.
Oh. Yeah, perfect.
And here is also a little sauna.
Okay. Perfect.
And the social area, you know, when we have the stove for the wood fire. It's here, and we can open the door and sit here and watch the fire.
Nice.
And this is radiators for the central heating. This table is my design. You see this. The support wooden.
Oh, yeah.
And the chairs are Roland Reiner.
Well, no,
you know.
Yes, incredible. Okay.
My friend Roland.
Yeah.
Has.
Wow. Very, very special.
And that's another work of Alexander. Yes.